So here's the steering wheel from a Mercury Grand Marquis 1999, and right now it's fully disassembled. There's other videos that show you how to take a steering wheel off, how to remove the airbag, so I'll leave it to them to show you how to do that. What's interesting here, I think, is how to remove the buttons from the steering wheel. As you see, I've already got them out, and the buttons are accessible from the back side through these holes in the steering wheel. There was a little bit of paper thin material hanging off here. I kind of tore it all away so I could get a clear view of the holes. When I went to push the buttons out, I found that they were quite firmly in place, and I was trying to decide if there was a fastener that was holding them in. And there isn't really a fastener per se, but there is a impediment to removing the buttons, and you can see here along the bottom edge that there's kind of like a pedestal on the base of the button holder, and that seats very firmly into the soft vinyl. There's not really, well, there is deep down in here a little groove for the pedestal flange to fit into, and that's what you're working against when you try and push the buttons through from the back side. Yeah, eventually, if you stretch a little bit, you'll be able to dislodge the flange on the base of the buttons, and then you'll be able to push them up, at which point you'll realize that there's wires attached back through. So then you slip or push the button holder back through, and untangle the wires from the holes of the steering wheel. So let's get this out of the way. So anyway, you're going to have to push hard. One of them came rather easy, the other one was like pulling a tooth that was fastened in well. And you can see here I've been able to get these buttons detached. There's a little pin on each side of a button, and that's what pins these buttons into the button holder. So here's the on-off, and it has right here a hole, and there's another hole. Over here you've got 2 and 2, and what I did to pry the buttons out was I got my handy tweezer stuck in here just far enough, and then I twist it. So I would push it in next to the button and then twist, and boom, it pops up. That seemed to be a very effective and non-harmful way of popping the buttons out. It must have flexed the sides just enough, and so anyways, good deal. Find yourself a nice, blunt, thin piece of stiff metal. This is stainless, and you'll be able to pop the buttons out, at which point you'll find that there's real electrical push buttons inside of these things. And up here at the top side, there's a little flange way up here that's flexible, and it holds the end of the board, clips the end of the board in. Down at the base there's a non-flexible flange that the board fits into. So best to work up here, push the flange up, release the board out, and there's a total of 5 buttons. 4 out of 5 of my buttons were dysfunctional. 1 was partially functional. You can go to eBay. You can look for momentary push buttons, 6mm by 6mm square. I believe these are 5mm in height, so 6 by 6 by 5. And they'll come from China, like 100 of them for $1. Wait a couple of weeks and you'll have those in hand. And you'll be set to do a little bit of desoldering. And for desoldering, well, I've got a